All right, so if you're in the pool service business, you know there's this huge question you face every time you're trying to grow. Do you go after those big commercial contracts, or do you build up a solid base of residential clients? The choice you make really shapes everything: your income, your stress, and believe it or not, whether you can even take a vacation. So today, we're going to break all of that down.
Okay, let's just dive right in. Now, on the surface, it seems kind of like a no-brainer, right? Just go for the biggest contracts you can find. But as you're about to see, the choice between residential and commercial, well, it's a really high-stakes decision. It defines the entire personality of your business, and it's about a whole lot more than just the money.
So, here's how we're going to tackle this. First, we'll look at these two completely different worlds. Then, we'll get into why commercial accounts are so tempting, the cash cow, right? After that, we'll explore the trade-offs, which are pretty significant. We'll uncover the hidden strengths of residential pools, talk about financial risk, and then finally, help you figure out how to craft the perfect portfolio for your goals.
Okay, let's get one thing straight right away. We're not just talking about the difference between a big pool and a small pool. Nope, we are talking about two fundamentally different business models, each with its own set of rules, its own pressures, and its own kind of relationships.
It's really easy to see the appeal of commercial accounts, right? I mean, they promise this big, steady paycheck that can be the anchor for your whole business. So, what exactly makes them so incredibly tempting?
So look at this. It's not just that the contracts are more lucrative. You're there 2, maybe 3 times a week, which actually makes the pool easier to keep in perfect shape. And get this, when something breaks, you're not haggling with a homeowner. Health codes mean they need it fixed yesterday, so repair approvals are lightning fast. It's a high-value, super efficient setup, once you jump through all the initial hoops with insurance and paperwork.
But, and this is a big but, those juicy contracts come with some pretty serious hidden costs. So let's pull back the curtain and look at what they do to your time, your freedom, and honestly, your peace of mind.
This right here, this is a massive lifestyle difference. With your residential clients, you can usually shuffle the schedule around, maybe even skip a week for a family vacation, and the pool's going to be okay. But a commercial pool, especially one with a heated spa that's running constantly, no way, you can't just leave it. It could turn into a total disaster, which becomes a huge liability for you. The bottom line is, your personal time is now chained to that pool's schedule.
And this just paints the perfect picture of the pressure difference. For a backyard pool, your job is to keep the homeowner happy. Simple enough. But with a commercial account, you've got city and health inspectors literally looking over your shoulder. If that water chemistry is off, they can slap a violation notice on the gate and shut that pool down. The buck stops with you, and the pressure to be perfect is immense.
Okay, so what about the other side of the coin? Residential accounts have these really powerful, often overlooked advantages, especially when we start talking about who's in control and your financial stability.
Let's talk about the absolute lifeblood of any small business: cash flow. With your residential clients, you set the rules. You can bill at the beginning of the month and get paid. Simple as that. But with big commercial properties, they set the rules. You're often looking at net 30 or even net 60 payment terms. That means you are floating the cost for all your chemicals and labor for a month, maybe 2, before you see a dime. That can put a serious strain on your bank account.
So, let's just sum it up. Residential gives you way faster cash flow. You're in control of your own billing. You've got lower day-to-day stress without worrying about inspectors, and when it's time to raise your rates, a small $5 or $10 bump across dozens of clients is way easier than trying to renegotiate one massive commercial contract.
This brings us to what might be the single most important point in this whole discussion: managing your financial risk. Let's really look at what the numbers tell us. I know, we've all heard this 1,000 times. But in this business, it's not just some cliché. It's a core survival strategy. Relying too heavily on 1 or 2 gigantic clients can leave your entire company incredibly vulnerable. So let's play this out. I want you to ask yourself this tough question. Imagine you wake up, check your email, and there it is. One of your clients is canceling. How badly does that actually hurt your bottom line? Well, the answer completely depends on which client just walked away.
And boom, this chart makes it painfully clear. Let's say you lose that massive commercial account, the one that pays what 5 residential pools do. That could wipe out a huge chunk of your income in an instant. That might mean having to let an employee go. But if you lose one residential client, it stings for sure. But your business isn't suddenly on life support. You can absorb that loss and find a new customer. That is the power of having a diversified client list. So after all this, what's the final verdict? Is it residential? Is it commercial? Well, the real answer isn't about choosing one over the other. The key is to build a smart, strategic, and balanced portfolio that actually uses the strengths of both.
This table just lays it all out perfectly. Commercial gives you that higher pay per client, but it comes with low flexibility, super high risk, slow cash flow, and a ton of stress. Residential is basically the mirror image. Lower pay per client, but you get high flexibility, low risk, fast cash flow, and way less stress. Seeing it all side by side really makes you think about the trade-offs you're making with every new client you bring on.
Ultimately, there's no magic formula here. There isn't one right answer. The perfect mix all comes down to you. Are you someone who's willing to trade your vacation time and take on more risk for those bigger paychecks? Or do you value financial stability, quick payments, and your personal freedom more? The whole goal is to consciously and deliberately build a business that serves your life, not the other way around.